Hello, and welcome back to Scene by Few with Nick and Lance.
Hi.
And we are continuing our episode by episode review of Gargoyles. With this episode, we're discussing episodes 33, 34, 35, and 36.
Which are named?
Walkabout, Mark of the Panther, Sentinel, and Pendragon.
How do you remember all this?
I just looked at it.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. So, thank you for joining us,
Yes,
other gargoyle enthusiasts.
yes. Hopefully there's a few out there.
I mean,
And there's got to be some people that are still watching it because they're putting out comics. So it's got to still be good for some people.
and we're just happy you're here.
Yes, and hopefully you're watching along with us, and hopefully you've seen it ahead because occasionally we do talk about stuff that's upcoming. I'm trying not to be too spoilery for what's coming because he's not seen it since the '90s, whereas I watched all of it again last year.
I can safely say, I don't think I've seen any of these episodes originally.
Really?
I think all of these were new. Hair?
Cat hair.
I had a big love-in session with my cat. She just loves that. She does not get snuggly very often, but today she was all like head bats, and it was great.
So you don't think you watched these ones originally?
I did not remember seeing any of these episodes.
So we're still in the little Avalon series where they're kind of going from place to place and kind of discovering. It kind of seems like they're discovering protectors in various locations. Like we go to London and be like, here's the Griff clan. And we go over to, in this one, Australia, and kind of fill in with what's going on with Dingo and kind of find a new protector there and such.
Yeah, it seems to be the season of establishing what entities are guarding certain areas.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. I think by the end of this little bit, or this series of four, whatever, I'm starting to. I think last time you kind of mentioned I'm ready to go back. And after these 4 episodes, I'm like, yeah, we're kind of getting there. And I know we've still probably got at least another 4. No, we got a bit. We've got like 8-ish episodes before we're finally going to get a return to Manhattan.
What's she doing?
Sounds like she's licking herself. Hey, you're locked in a cage. You got to find something fun to do.
I got
So, I guess we want to start with a rating for Walkabout,
yes,
and then we'll bump into it.
yes.
So, Lance, what would you give Walkabout?
5.
Okay, I shouldn't have rounded up.
Oh, okay. Miss Dingo.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was a lower number. I'm like, no, it's a little interesting. I think I'd also give it a 5 because it's fine. There's nothing wrong with
We
this
both
episode.
rounded up.
There's nothing wrong with this episode per se. It's just kind of whatever. The AI is weird. Them showing kind of like off the nano machines. It's kind of like he zooms in and like, oh, it's a nanotech. I'm like, okay, whatever, it's fine.
Should we be talking about that right now?
We're going to be talking about these episodes once we
Okay, because this is spoilery.
spoilers. We're going to be talking about these episodes in depth. Hey, cut out.
Take a break.
Take a break.
Give it a rest. Okay, so the next episode is
No, we'll write it on the next one.
yeah.
Let's talk about Walkabout.
Okay, well, I mean, what if they?
That's how we always do it.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, what if they're just like, but what about the next episode?
Have watched all of these, and then we'll get to them as we go.
So we're gonna have to put like time markers in here, but like, if you didn't like this episode, like, go to this time marker.
We could. We absolutely could.
If you want us to do that, put it down in the comments. Takes a lot more commitment.
Yeah,
from us,
if you're the type to skip around, like I want to hear what they say about Mark of the Panther or whatever. Let us know. So Walkabout.
nano machines. I had no idea. You guys ruined the episode for me. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was interesting, but I mean, even it had the same effect on me at the beginning of it when everything was like turning silver and like getting crystalline and shit. I was just like, what the fuck is happening in this episode?
It's weird.
And I even caught myself at some point saying, like, searching my memory banks for like, have I seen this? And nothing was coming back. And I was like, I think it's safe to say that I haven't seen anything from this point on. But my favorite episode has not come out yet.
Yeah, so you must have just probably hit a chunk of stuff you just didn't watch.
it must have been like weeks where I just didn't get home in time to watch it because, as we said before, this was back in the day that if you missed it, it was
It's
fucking
gone.
gone
Yeah.
until it randomly showed up again.
You can't plan around that shit. There's no internet to look up. Maybe if you had TV Guide, you could look ahead for the month and be like, there it is. But as a kid, I didn't do that shit. TV Guide was full of stuff I didn't want to watch.
Or if you had like a mother that was committed to you and you were like, "Do you record the episode of Gargoyles for me?" I recorded the episode of Gargoyles for you. Like that. Yeah, if I would ask my mom, "Did you record Transformers and Gargoyles for me?" She'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here."
And I think, was that VCR technology at that point in time where you had to have it on, it had to be on the channel, and you had to click record. Eventually, we got like VCR recordings where you could tell it to record a channel at a certain point in time, kind of like the precursor to DVR.
And even then, you had to like
It had
put
to
the
be,
cable into the VCR
it had to be on that channel.
and then out of the VCR to the TV, and you had to put the channel on the VCR itself. So yeah, it was a. There's no way my mom would have figured that shit out.
No.
But yeah, it was. I sat there like dumbfounded watching this episode.
It's
like,
weird.
like I know, I feel like at one point I've seen all of these before, and then as like things were like turning crystalline and shit, I was like, okay, what is happening? Like, what is the possible explanation for this? And even then, I will say top. I'd say the animation in this one was middling.
It's okay.
You know, it wasn't super great, but it also wasn't terrible.
Not great, not terrible.
Like watching Dingo get into the armor. Like I rewound that 2 times
No,
just to see how it opened up and how he got into it, and the way like it bent over and opened up, and he like steps into it and then it closed. It looked good.
It was neat. I mean, I kind of like that he was like looking through the helmet at the nano machines, and then he like pulled it off and like handed it to Elise. I'm like, that's nice. They're getting along. How nice.
Yeah, they're playing nice.
Yeah.
And it did the same. It did the normal thing where like I even thought it myself when they're like, "Where are we?" Well, if the kangaroos are any indication, we're in Australia. And then it immediately goes to Dingo asking like a shaman, you know, like what do I do with this? And then he goes over and looks at the armor, and you're like, dun dun dun. What's he up to?
What's under there?
You're not gonna follow me, are you? You know, it's like, okay, what's he up to? And then of course, gargoyles show up, and Dingo's just like, fucking gargoyles here. And then he finds out it's a Goliath, and he's like, what the hell? You know, like I liked that moment of just like.
Because the last time we saw them, the last time we saw Dingo, I think, was after everyone had kind of like transformed or whatever, and all this shit was going on. And
He's like, I'm working with freaks.
Yeah, like, these people are fucking wackadoo. I'm the challenge. He's like a hunter or whatever, and he's kind of like originally like, look at this big monster. He's like, I want to hunt a big monster, and then you develop a grudge for this big monster, so you kind of keep going along with it, and then you find out you're working with monsters, and you're kind of like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to Australia and kind of like figure out what I'm doing with my life.
And I thought it was neat that I think the hero of the episode was the fucking shaman.
Oh, yeah,
Like without him, they would have gotten nothing accomplished.
absolutely.
Because they kept going back to him. They're like, "We're going to try this," and he's like, "That's not the way."
Nope, you good dream state, man. Come on, dream state's gonna do everything.
And then they go into the dream states. Like he had already read the script.
Yeah.
He was like, "I know how you end this." But it was just a weird episode. Like they fucked up a lot of shit, but still, for some reason, Fox didn't go to jail. You know, they were.
It's not a crime if it's in Australia.
I suppose. But it's like they devoured a power plant.
Well, I guess it sounded something that Fox said to her mother is that like this area was meant to be cleared for testing, so it's quite possible that they owned this land for their company or whatever, and that it was fine if they destroyed it because it's theirs.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know that it ever. I don't know if it ever got to the point where it's actually destroying stuff they don't own. So I think it was probably okay.
Yeah, but like to devil may care go to someplace, create fucking this AI that's like running nano machines, and then have this stone cold realization of in 4 days it'll control the planet.
Oh yeah.
Like that is
Oopsie.
that's some of the most oopsie poopsie shit I've ever seen.
Oopsie.
And like they straight up tell them, it's like as they're looking at it, they're like, "Oh, we've hit its range." But once it devours the power plant, there's nothing that could stop it. And they're like, "Well, how do we stop it?" And they're like, "Nothing. Nothing stops us." Yeah. It was a weird fucking episode.
Weird. We get to meet Fox's mother finally.
Yeah.
And she's a lot younger than Renard.
Yeah. He's robbing the fucking cradle, yo. But I mean, when you're rich,
Oh yeah.
I guess you could do shit like that.
She rich too.
Yeah.
That's the fun part. You marry a rich man, now you're rich, and you divorce a rich man, you're still rich.
And you're richer still. So yeah, it was an interesting episode, but it was fun watching Dingo basically trying to turn over that new leaf.
Yeah, I enjoyed them fighting at first, and then all this crazy shit's happening with like the thing falling, and then they slowly start helping each other, and it's kind of like we've got bigger issues, and then it's kind of like okay, like truce,
Yeah,
let's deal with this, and then we'll kind of figure our shit out.
he did help us, so we'll trust you for now.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, yeah, don't piss off Goliath. And then you had that turn at the end of it where it's like, oh no, is he going to fuck us? No, he's still helping us. So it was a good episode. The pack aren't my favorite. They're just okay. Don't like that. I don't care for Fox's character. She's just
I still like Fox.
she's just whatever to me.
Yeah. So you're looking more pregnant this time around.
Well, yeah, but it's like the simple fucking like her answer for like creating the AIs and stuff is like David and I will change the world to what we want it to be, and it's like that's fucking evil.
Yeah, sure is.
Like that is super fucking evil.
But I mean, I guess it's when you say it like that, it sounds awful. But maybe it's like we're going to change the world the way we want it by building structures for homeless people. Like you could put things on the end of it that make it not evil. It's just I don't know if that's what her actual intention to change the world.
Homeless people.
I mean, it could be. It's like I'm going to change the world to fit my image, which is cheap housing for everybody.
Yeah, but if that happened, Goliath would be looking at it and be like, so Xanatos and Fox opened this homeless shelter and it's got like this food bank over here. Like, what are they up to? And then like later on, it would have fucking go back to Xanatos and he's like, it's simple, Owen. I bring all of the homeless people to the shelter and I feed them food that I've baited with mutagen. So they'll all turn into gargoyles. So when the gargoyles find out what's going on, I'll have my own fleet of gargoyles. And there's always another reason why he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
So even if it looks altruistic, it's going to turn into something fucking terrible that's like 10 pages down the fucking script.
Yeah. Even if it seems altruistic, it could be like this. These are cheap, affordable homes for people, so that I can improve my image. So when I do this next awful thing, people don't believe it.
Yeah, it's Xanatos is like the comic book villain of comic book villains.
He's good. He's the inventor of the TV trope, the Xanatos Gambit, which we've talked about here before. I think.
Mm-hmm. We sure have. But Jonathan Frakes.
It's good. It's essentially Evil Riker. It's good.
Yeah, and the beard is just as immaculate.
Yeah. If only he sat in chairs, like Riker.
Wrong
did.
way.
Yeah. Leg over the back, but he just got those evil high back chairs. It's harder to do. You got to do like a jump kick over.
I saw a meme the other day of a chair that literally has like a 10-foot back, and it was Riker going. So, but yeah, this was a fun episode, but the animation was good.
Yeah.
I still think the best character of the whole thing was the shaman. He was great.
There you go. It sounded like he was voiced by Keith David as well.
I think so.
I think so. Like, why pay another actor when Keith David's right there, and he's fucking amazing.
That's correct. Yeah. Can you put a little less Keith and a little more David on it? How about this? Is this better? That's perfect. Yeah. Let's just do that.
Can you give us Weird Shaman? Awesome. There we go. That's perfect.
Yeah, I think anyone of color in this series, because I think even in Mark of the Panther, I think he was the person that was the Panther.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that one.
I can't look.
Well, we're not. I don't think we're going to discuss.
Or he might have been a Nazi. I'm not sure, but we'll discuss it.
We'll discuss it when we get to it. Is there anything else you really want to say about Walkabout? It's fine.
I thought that the AI thingy, like the joining of the AI, like when it turned into a person and they explained Law and Order to it, and it's like, oh, you could have a buddy cop. We could run around together and stop crime, and I could tell you what Law and Order is. And then he formed into a suit of armor. It's like, okay, he's got a symbiote now.
Oh, that guy could be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, he's got a fucking symbiote of nanomachines around him now. Like, he just jumped to the top of the fucking villain ladder.
He could have, yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like, it's like Dingo shows up and he's like, "Oi, stop robbing the bank." They're like, "Fuck you," and then he's just like, this little tiny dot off my suit, and all of a sudden you're drowning in fucking silver ooze. He turns you into a statue.
He's just gonna, show up like, we're not gonna do that. And it's like, okay, he sends his wave of nanomachines and turns you into affordable food.
Yeah.
Rearranges your atoms to be a tasty dinner.
Yeah, he just shot to the top of the most dangerous people in the fucking planet in the Gargoyles universe. But I thought it was interesting.
Yep.
That the way the armor looked whenever he was in it.
And ironically enough, I don't remember if we see him again. We might, but I don't. It's not jumping out to me because I don't remember that suit again. Because the suit, it looks kind of silly.
But yeah.
Whereas his dingo suit, I think, was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's still just gold armor with like a little dingo face plate, but or like it's fine, and then it flips up. And it's pretty cool. Not as cool as Zenitos's Goliath armor, but I mean it's fine. And then he gets that big silver thing with random spikes, and it's kind of got his face. Like,
it had like the little fucking thing on the top.
Yeah, like, it's all silly.
It was like it's a silver rooster suit.
I'd say, well, I think it's kind of match his mohawk.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, whatever. It's a 90s kid show.
Yeah, but no, I think we've pretty much nano machined this one out.
We've milked this turtle.
Yeah, we've milked this turtle. So yeah, I guess we could move on.
All right. So next one is Mark of the Panther.
Mark of the Panther. What do I think Nick gave this episode? I'm gonna say that.
No. You locked in?
I'm locked in.
I gave this one 6.
6?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I like this one.
Okay.
It's some transforming, or shape shifting, and a big trickster spider. That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay.
What about you, Lance? What would you give it?
I'd give this one a 5.
Again, I went too generous.
I mean, it was fine. Yeah. I thought it was neat that they attacked the not attacked, but they covered the whole Anansi thing.
So the guy that transformed Farumaku, Don Reed. I don't know who he is, but do you know who Anansi was? It's not Keith David.
Really?
It's LeVar Burton.
No shit.
Yep. And do you know who Elisa's mom is? Think Star Trek.
I feel like we've covered this before. I'm gonna say, is it Uhura?
It is Nichelle Nichols.
Nice.
So we had 2 Star Trek additional folk in this one, which we must have brought up Nichelle Nichols before, but again, it was out of my brain. It's been weeks since we've talked about it.
That's true. Yeah, I think we've covered that before, where it's like this was the Star Trek reunion fucking cartoon show.
Absolutely.
So,
well, I guess in Nichelle Nichols, it was never really, because it's mostly Next Gen. For them to get Nichelle Nichols, I don't know if she was never on Next Gen, was she?
I don't think so, but I think they did.
I don't remember very many callbacks to it.
So Scotty was on it.
Yeah. Because it was in the future, because he got stuck somewhere.
He was buffering himself in a transporter.
Hence why they could bring him back. And I don't remember them calling back to the other ones until the movies, because the movies did.
Yeah. Well, that was the one where it was like the wave of time that was happening that was putting Kirk and Picard in the same area.
Yeah.
I think that's it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. But still.
Yeah, still. The 2 Star Trek people, I guess, because Keith David's not Star Trek.
And LeVar Burton is totally. But that, I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
I could have picked up on that.
I didn't hear it. I guess I don't hear his voice enough to really just pick up on it immediately.
He was one of my favorite people in The Next Generation. Then again, like I loved the entire cast. I think that's why I just loved that show. Have you started watching?
I've seen all of The Next Generation once. And I remember like a couple episodes. And there's a few, like the few episodes that I enjoy are the ones that are about breaking the Prime Directive.
Like, I can't help but break the Prime Directive.
Good. But like the one where they were on the planet or whatever, and they had like an observation post, and it exploded, and they had to like bring people on the ship, and then they're like, the Picard. Like, that episode's good. And then there was another one where Riker and a few others went down to an alien planet that was about to reach space travel. So they had disguised themselves to like blend in.
And then, of course, they always get fucking caught.
And then they got caught. But like those 2 are some of my favorite episodes.
Okay. I wish you knew the names of them.
I do not.
No, I get it. It's the only reason I say that is that I used to watch their shows religiously back in the day. Because Next Generation was the Star Trek that I got kicked off on.
Is one of them Who Watches the Watchers?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's someone right now screaming at their fucking screen.
Let us know.
Please.
I am not versed in Star Trek at all, for the most part. It's people telling me Star Trek is amazing, and me occasionally going to try to like, let me see what I can do, and it's been difficult to get into.
I think I don't remember if it's what it's called, but my favorite episode was A Measure of a Man, which was the Federation basically.
Isn't that one?
Well, no, I think that was the one where the Federation was trying to say that Data was property
Yeah,
and not
that one's good. That one's good.
and not a being. And
Yeah.
basically, it was funny because like you had I think it was Riker arguing for, but then
that he's not property.
yeah, but then you had Picard arguing against, and it was like
It
that
was,
is
it was the other way. I think it was Picard trying to protect Data while they forced Riker to try to like, Data, can you pull off your arm, please? And
yes,
yeah,
yeah, and it was just like that is so fucking dirty.
yeah, that was.
But it was such a good
No,
episode.
yeah, that was.
But the only reason I'm bringing that up is that BBC America. We used to have it back on the TV in the room. And this was not a trap thing because Amber used to put movies on as she was going to bed. Then I'd walk in and be like, oh, this movie. And then I'd fucking sit there and watch the entire thing. And it was 2 o'clock. I was going to sleep. BBC America started playing old generation episodes just randomly, just random episodes. And there were so many times where I would get out of the shower, I'd lay in bed, and then I would just move it over to BBC America, and I'd watch 3 fucking episodes of like The Next Generation. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, but man, what a great, just like it was such a warm, bubbly, like going back to an old friend's house.
That's what I liked. No, the people who speak in metaphors, like Bert, his arms wide open.
Okay,
That one was fun.
yeah, that was a weird one.
I like that one. It reminded me of. It's still a movie I've not seen, but I've
Shaka
heard.
when the walls fell.
Yeah, movie I've not seen, but I've heard about the one with I can't remember, but like him and an alien fall on the ship, and he dies, and he's got to raise his kid. Like the two are enemies.
Enemy Mine.
That's it.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid and Lou Gossett Jr. I fucking love that
I've
movie.
never seen that movie because of people having talked about it before and being like, "This is a movie you should watch." I'm like, "That is a movie I should watch." It sounds very interesting.
That was a random. So, to explain to you what we were talking about in another video, why I just was randomly wanting to go see movies, and I'm like, Nick, come with me to see movies. My dad, our normal thing was he would pick me up on Friday. He'd take me to the bar. I'd play Donkey Kong and track and field in the back of the bar while he did his thing. Saturday, we would go watch movies, and he'd drop me at the mall. Like, we'd go watch a movie. He'd drop me at the mall. I'd play arcade games and go to the Green Dragon. And then Sunday, we would just chill at the fucking house. And on the way home, he'd take me by putt-putt golfing games, do a round of putt-putt, and play some video games. And then I'd go back home. Every weekend, we went and saw a movie. Every single weekend. So I think that's just kind of like my operation.
It's just you like
in my head.
go to the theater to see a movie.
Yeah, but like Enemy Mine was one that we just picked at random. Like my dad was like, let's just watch this movie. And I swear to God, walking out of that flick, I was just like, oh my God, what a good fucking movie. Like I still remember the kid's name. Do you remember the kid's name?
I've never seen the movie.
Oh, that's right. His name was Zummies.
Zombies.
Yeah, Zummies. And it was just one of those flicks that has always stuck with me. Because like Louis Gossett Jr. was so over the top. Like he was talking like this. And like almost like a bad Sean Connery.
Okay.
But like, yeah, he was really fucking. Oh God, we gotta watch that movie. I guess I'm gonna do one of the Have You Seens
Oh, we can.
now. Well, shit.
You've heard it here first.
Yeah.
Although this Star Trek tangent has led us off course.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
So I like Mark the Panther. It's interesting. I like that we finally like. Elisa shows up and it's like, "Oh, where have you been?" It's like, "Oh, we're doing a thing." It's like, we were worried about you, Mom. Sorry.
Yeah. How weird is it that her mom is like there at that particular time though? Like, it's like, of course. So that woman is my mother. It was like, of course she is.
Well, again, they're being led there by magic. So why is it a coincidence? Well, because magic's like, "Oh, your mother's in danger."
Yeah. Okay. I could see that.
Because her mother probably would have been shot if Elisa and the Gargoyles weren't there to stop him.
That's true. Yeah. No witnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Okay, good point. I didn't make that connection, but like I thought it was weird how it was like poachers and the Panthers, and then the woman who wanted to kill the Panther was also a Panther. Like that was a twist I didn't see coming.
Yeah, so after the little Anansi story or whatever, we learned that the mom was a Panther, turned into human to do bidding for Anansi, and kind of marked her son so that he could become a Panther, and so she wouldn't be lonely anymore. So I guess that's a thing Anansi's still doing, is kind of like turning people to Panthers.
Yeah, fuck over
And this
people.
guy's like, well, I'm going to mark my love so that she'll be a Panther and won't fit into the city, and instead has to stay here with me. And learning that, she's like, I'm going to kill him. So she goes out into the jungle or whatever, and it's like, a Panther, get it. It might be him.
And then, she just wants the Panthers dead, but the people she's hired want the skins.
Yeah, they're actually poachers. So I
Yeah.
think she hired poachers under the guise of we're poaching Panthers when really she just wants to kill him so that she doesn't have to be a Panther anymore.
But that was weird that they showed up at the set and she wasn't focused in on him. She was focused in on the Panther that was in the cage. But, like, she knows it's him.
I guess I wasn't paying enough attention. I don't know if he was, like, standing right there or was he, like...
Well, he was standing, like, right there near Elisa's mom at that one point. And then he's all of a sudden, like, goes like Michael Jackson Thriller and starts turning into the Panther.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, God, Panther, kill it. And then it fucks off to Pacoima. And then they go chasing it. And then all of a sudden she turns into a Panther. And I was like, okay. Like, I thought that episode was a little bit convoluted. The best part to me was the whole Anansi thing. And then Anansi shows up at the end of the episode.
Yeah. I like that he's so big and fat.
Yeah.
That just knocking him to the ground is like makes him useless.
He's very corpulent. Yeah. But yeah, it was a very busy episode. But I think that what I got the most out of was them telling like the story of like the Panther who became a woman and then the decisions she had to make. She became a Panther again, but she missed her family. And it's like, okay, well, you can have one of your family back.
I'll give you one.
Yeah, it's so fucking dirty. But yeah, it was a decent episode.
I kind of like that when she was telling the story, it had like a different animation style.
Yeah. Anansi had like a weird one, and like when they did the web that was like spreading the web out, and it was like all one web that was like growing like that. Yeah, that was cool. I'd totally forgotten about that, but I totally noticed it because I was like, "What's wrong with that woman's neck?" Because she was like, right.
No, yeah, it's just a totally different animation style for kind of the storytelling that she kind of went through. I'm like, this is fun. I like the big spider. I like that we're kind of talking about Angela and Goliath's relationship like a bit more straightforward. Where every time he's like, "You're my dad," he's like, "Stop it. Everyone's your dad." Like, well, everyone's not my dad because everyone but you is dead. So how about we just
cut the shit, and we talk like yeah.
And you've got to look at the entire clan as your parents. Like, they're gone.
Yeah.
I was raised by 2 humans. I guess 3 humans.
That's true.
And now I'm back with you because I came with you because I'm like,
Wait, who's the third human?
The Magus, Tom, and Catherine.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it was mostly Tom and Catherine, but Magus was there as a parental figure as well. I guess he'd be the uncle.
Yeah. He was casting the spells to keep the rookery warm and stuff. So.
He couldn't cast spells. Remember that in Avalon?
He had the book.
He couldn't take the book into Avalon. He had to leave it out, which is why he felt so sad when he got to Avalon. He was just kind of like, oh.
You don't think he was a sorcerer that he like retained some of it?
No, we watched those episodes. He killed himself casting spells.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Okay. He had to kill himself to cast spells because essentially he spent his entire rest of his life thinking like, the book is what made me special, and he had to come and hence why when Tom and Catherine were kind of like getting on with each other, even though he was kind of like interested in Catherine. It's kind of like, well, I've lost what's made me special, so I'm not even a worthy competitor, and just kind of.
True. So sad.
Yeah, it's just kind of watched on. It's like, oh, I'll just be here helping out. Think, poor man.
He was the coolest.
I like Magus. Although he is the one that, I guess he kicked the show off in a way by turning everyone to stone.
He did. He gave Xanatos the reason to put a castle on top of a skyscraper, But yeah, it was, this episode was decent. It felt very disjointed to me.
It was definitely kind of the theme of it being parental love or parental support or whatever. And keeping secrets from your family, essentially. Kind of like, Elise has been keeping all this big secret from Diane.
He was eating shit the entire episode. Yeah. Like every time you turned around, the mother was like, "What secret are you keeping from me now?" It was like,
Mom, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Some things I want to keep to myself.
It was weird, but it was fine.
It was good.
I wouldn't say it's in my top 10 of the season so far.
No.
But I did like the fact that as soon as I saw the story, I was like, "Are they doing a Nancy?" And then it was totally, and I was like, "Okay." I know that reference because of American Gods.
Okay. And I know it in other things because of this. And I don't even know how accurate it is per se.
Don't know.
Other than Trickster Spider.
If you know how accurate it is, please put down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Unfortunately,
most of my, I guess, cultural dips into other places come from Gargoyles. And then just being like, interesting, and then never looking deeper.
Well, it's like I read American Gods and I loved Anansi in the book. And then when they announced the show and they said they were getting Make 7 Up Yours, God, what's his name? I'm blanking on it right now. Fucking dude that used to do the make 7 up yours. Fucking
From Mad TV?
there was a series of commercials. I can't look it up
No.
because I can't run the score. Orlando Jones.
That's it. So yes, Mad TV.
Yes, when they announced that Orlando Jones was going to be a Nazi, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be good because he's gotten very good.
Okay.
And then apparently he was problematic because he was like, we want more pay, and they were like, now. So they just took him out of the show, and he was the best part of American Gods. Second season, still pretty good, but nowhere near as good as the first.
You want to move on?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a decent episode.
I like it. Up next, Sentinel.
Okay.
So we're going to Easter Island
Yes.
with aliens. Mm-hmm. And Lance, are you ready?
Yeah. Nick. Don't look in the mirror. Don't look in the window.
I'm not looking. I don't think the window even shows it. I'm not going to change my answer because you changed your answer. I'm not doing it to spite you.
Nick, what would you give the Easter Island episode?
5.
Fuck.
It's weird.
It is weird.
It's weird. What about you, Lance?
I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 5 as well.
Now that I've got the 2 previous episodes on my back.
Yeah, it was fine. I thought it was just a bit much.
Yeah, it's strange. Well, I guess to kind of... They're going to Easter Island. Like, oh, this could be a cool area for a mystery. But for the most part, like, what it is... Like, what they did about those Easter Island stuff is still... Or at least was still largely a mystery. So they kind of had a big wide open door to do things. And there's... Back in the day before, ancient aliens, and kind of aliens was the meme. It's kind of like, oh, it could be aliens. So they've made a big man with an Easter Island head.
I think they
as an
proved.
alien.
I think they proved like the heads at Easter Island are like fake.
Yeah.
I heard something recently where they went back and like, I'm probably wrong about this because this is all secondhand information of someone I overheard them talking about it, and I do have a saying: believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. So
Yeah, who knows?
yeah, I think that it might have been like a tourist thing that might have happened, but it makes sense if it was like for the longest time. I do remember the discussion was like, how did it get there? They're so big and they're so uniform.
And the stone isn't on the island or something like that.
Yeah, like it was the whole mystery around it. Aliens,
Sure.
probably a good idea for what it was.
Yeah, in a show where we just had like artificial intelligence, we're dealing with kind of mystical creatures and magic and stuff like that. Why not say that like there's aliens? Whatever. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? It just ends up being a little weird. This guy is kind of the mixture of, I've been living on this island. I've never seen gargoyles. You're aliens. I'm like, okay. So they're kind of like 2 good guys kind of dealing with each other.
Well, it's like I feel like he's I feel like he's that meme of what's his name from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh!
Leonardo.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, where it's like he's
just
like
kind of sitting there watching the screens. Not human.
Humans. Oh! Yeah, it's time for action.
That's not a human. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and then like when they're like, yeah, no, we're defenders too. He's like, no, fuck you. Yeah, you're here. I don't know what species or what alien fucking domination thing you're from, but you're going down. And then like he gave the fucking line where he was about to take them out, and he's like, tell your masters this place is under protection. It's like, you're gonna eliminate them. Who the fuck are they telling that to? Like it was just a weird episode. And to see his rather large head in that fucking crazy suit of armor.
That's weird. He was played by Avery Brooks.
Avery Brooks is a very familiar name to me.
He was Captain Benjamin something in Star Trek.
Benjamin Sisko, another Star Trek guy. Yeah. Okay. God damn.
Because I saw the name, I was like, who played Nokar? Avery Brooks. Got another Star Trek one. I don't know, Clyde Kusatsu. He looks familiar as well. Like another one of those that's guys that's in just a bunch of stuff, and he was the Doctor.
Huh. Okay. Very cool.
John Rhys Davies was Arthur. I guess they got John Rhys Davies back because Arthur, I think, was in one of the episodes where they were going against Macbeth. Mm-hmm. So hey, we've got this voice role. Let's get John Rhys Davies to do it because we're pulling him in. Another one of
yeah.
those cost-saving. Hey, we got you. Why don't you just give us your normal voice or whatever?
Farewell, my enemies. Sorry, I know that's Macbeth, but I still one of my favorite fucking lines. Farewell, my enemies.
So this episode, it's strange. Like, I don't know.
The tongue laser.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Like the tongue laser. You've got to be at the controls the entire time to control the tongue laser. And the second you're not on the controls, it goes fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you program it so when there's no one on the controls, it just like chills.
Yeah.
Don't make it like, okay, I've got this gun, but the second I'm not holding down like these two things, like if I just let it go, it just starts shooting. You've got to be holding it in your hands to prevent it from shooting.
It's failsafe.
Yeah.
You can shoot me, but I'm still gonna blast everything on the fucking quadrant,
No,
I guess. Yeah, it was just an odd episode, like, but I liked some of the things it did. Like, I loved the holding areas, which looked like crazy nano ribbons that were surrounding him.
Cool.
I like that before you saw who he was, when he had Angela in the thing, and she's like, I'm trying to tell you what's going on, and he's like, there'll be time for that later, and like he scans her, and then you see the holographic her like flying across the sky, and does like the fetal position lay, and Goliath is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What is this thing?
Trickery and sorcery. Yeah, it did some neat things.
I kind of liked Elisa losing her memory briefly. It was kind of interesting. To just be like, what the fuck why the fuck would I follow you? And he shows up and kidnaps her.
Yeah. And then basically like she's like, I think they're okay. And he's like, nah, I'm still gonna kill him. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to save the human race, and this thing is going out of its way to fucking save your life. I think it's dangerous.
It's probably that.
Yeah.
It's got you brainwashed for some reason, and it's really focused on protecting you.
It's like, you're the one that fucking brainwashed me. You're the one that mind wiped me.
There's this whole explanation, like they've erased you, or they've given you these memories, and I've erased them in you so that you can return to how your life was. But the fact that the feelings returned kind of meant like, oh, they were real. My bad. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
Oops. Oopsie.
The biggest oopsie poopsie.
Oopsie.
The biggest thing I liked in the episode was when Goliath showed up the first time and she whipped fucking iron on him, and she straight up told him, "Okay, I warned you," which was her way of saying, "I did my due diligence. Now I'm gonna fucking off you." And she straight up pulls on him.
It's coming right for us.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, I must be a bad cop if I didn't even have bullets. And he's like, yeah, you ran out of bullets a long time ago.
It was months ago.
Yeah.
It was weeks ago.
Yeah,
Huh.
you ran out of bullets way back in Avalon. But they've gone through different places, like the Gollum episode. She could have just stopped in an ammo store real quick and been like, you...
Not in Prague, go buy ammo. I don't think you can you?
In Prague?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. All I'm saying is they passed through civilization in some of these episodes, like...
But I don't know how many places they've gone to where you can just go buy ammo.
Shit, I don't know. I guess that's a good point.
They don't know where they're showing up. They can't be like...
I mean, I know you can't get it in Australia.
I don't think you can get them in Europe either. It's kind of... America's the weird place where you can just go to a store and get bullets.
Yeah, if you're... children can get bullets in America right now. It's funny. Yeah, I don't know. It's just... It was a strange episode.
Yeah, it's weird.
But, like... I guess this was the episode where I was just like, okay, like the gloves are off on content, like
yeah, like we can do fucking anything.
Yeah,
I think this is the last check mark when she first met Bluestone, and she brings up Loch Ness monster, aliens, and what was it? There was one other one that we've done as well. It was kind of the Illuminati. It's like the Illuminati, Loch Ness monster, aliens, like check. All those we've done all those.
Matt Bluestone was right about everything.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, like this was the episode that finally just like made me say, okay, there's nothing they can't do at this point. Like they've done, it's like you said, mystical beings, aliens, like it's all on the table.
And I don't even think this is the weirdest episode.
Well, the next episode's pretty weird too.
The next episode is weird. Episode 38. So next month, the second one we get to, I think that's probably one of the weirdest episodes.
Which is called?
The New Olympians.
You knew what now?
The New Olympians?
Oh, God. All right.
I think that might be the weirdest episode that I remember.
And we're getting into it in what, 2 episodes from now?
Next month when we record, we'll be talking about that one.
Okay. I'm super interested to know.
Yeah, if I think it's... I need to watch it again, but I think it might be weirder than Sentinel.
I will say that this episode of the 4 had the best animation.
Yeah, the Pendragon one didn't have great animation. The other two were all right.
It was bad.
It wasn't great.
And I can't remember if there's a continuity thing of it, but like the two Macbeth henchmen, they're like the same people.
Yeah,
But
kind of.
like this guy had a fucking closed eye, and I don't remember him only having one eye in past episodes.
Well, I don't remember if he got like, I don't know if early in that episode he got hit and he was favoring his eye or whatever. Or if, I have no idea.
I don't remember either, but like this episode had so many of those things where like the characters talking, and when they stop talking, they
Yep, it saved money.
yeah.
So is there anything else you want to add about Sentinel? Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely weird.
It's kind of an interesting idea of like, there's this intergalactic war going on. Earth's kind of close. How about you just go keep an eye on Earth? And then time goes on for fucking them, and you're here on your post. Like, oh, I guess they're not gonna.
And
No mission updates. Stay here and stay vigil. I guess.
Yeah.
Aliens could be coming any day now.
And it was interesting when he was like, I thought about abandoning my post at one time, but then you showed up, and I'm like, whee ha, you know, like.
There it is.
But I thought it was interesting at the very end of the episode where Elisa was like basically giving the sum up. She's like, he's a guardian of a fucking intergalactic war that may not be going on anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
He's been here since like the Easter Island civilization.
Yeah.
It might be done by now.
It just reminds me of a story that I heard where it was like back when I guess Japanese were our enemy in like World War II. There was an island that some guy got stuck on, and they were like, defend this island at all cost. And then the war was fucking over, and that dude was still running around fucking people up. He had no idea that the war was over.
Yeah.
And I think that went on for like 10 years.
Jeez.
And they finally fucking caught him, and he's like, death to America. And they're like, the war is over, buddy.
It's kind of like looking through a file. Hey, did we ever tell this guy?
Whatever happened to this guy? We haven't heard from him. I'm sure it's fine. Meanwhile, they're just like, who the fuck is shooting at us? And it's like, die, American pigs. But yeah, that's what that reminded me of when I was watching this episode. I was kind of like, okay, this, you don't have a radio? Just fly out of the atmosphere real quick. Be like, hello,
Just leave for a minute.
guys.
But the second he was thinking about leaving, that gargoyle showed up. So imagine like he came back down and he's like, oh, I showed up to Easter Island and it's gone. Got blew up by the aliens. They were waiting for the second for me to leave.
But as long as he was here, like,
yeah.
how long had that thought been lingering in his head? Like every day, he's like, something didn't fucking happen. I'm leaving, goddamn. Like centuries of this go on.
Well, I guess if you're that old too.
That's true. He looked remarkable.
He did.
And like he was so bored, he just kept putting up pictures of himself in stone outside of his ship. And it was like, no, this was a gift from me to you because I am fucking handsome. But that was the weird part. Like they kept not showing his face, and then when they did, it was like one of the big rock heads, and it was like, okay, sure,
Sure, why not? Why not? So let's move on to
Pendragon.
Pendragon. Lance, what would you give Pendragon?
I'd give it a 7.
Oh, really? I went low on this one.
Okay.
I guess average on this one.
It was my favorite of the batch.
Okay.
Just for the fact of King Arthur. I love me some King Arthur.
Sure.
And I thought it was I thought it was funny where he was like, "It's my fucking sword,"
Yeah.
and they're just like, "Eh." I loved how annoyed he was getting. All right, how about you, Nick?
I think I'm going to give this one a 4.
Yeah, I am all over the place tonight.
I don't really. I'm not interested in Griffin and King Arthur. I'm interested in Gargoyles.
Yeah.
So like here are these two secondary characters. That isn't this an interesting story? I'm like, no,
But they were there.
I know, but it's so. From what I remember, and I also checked IMDb a little bit earlier too, is that this was kind of like a spin-off bait, where they're like, Pendragon, Griff, they could be hunting the Holy Grail. So there was kind of like if people are interested, if this episode did well, we can take King Arthur and Griff and do their whole TV show and kind of have them hunt the Holy Grail, hunt for Merlin and all this other shit.
Interesting. I didn't know this was what was happening. It's crazy.
Which is why this episode kind of always felt a little weird to me. Like, what is this episode? It was I don't know what you call those, where they're kind of like a bait episode.
Sure. They're gauging interest for a nice spin-off.
Which is why some of the like Star Wars episodes, like the Ahsoka episode, Mandalorian, kind of felt like is this series bait? Like, huh? What? Ahsoka?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything in Star Wars right now is either an excuse to make toys or an excuse to make a different line.
Yeah.
Whatever tests the best, we'll give them a fucking show.
Which goes to show they've always been doing it.
Yeah.
It's just you might not have noticed because you were a kid, and now it's super obvious.
Whether you knew it or not, you were less of a fan and more of a consumer.
Yeah.
So,
Again, all Disney still, but
oh yeah, well, Disney is just, they're great about fucking milking every bit of nostalgia out of you.
everyone is too. How many series spun off Happy Days? Wasn't like, and then there's Maude. Wasn't that one? Joni Loves Chachi. Mork and Mindy.
I think, yeah. I,
I'm not super caught up on all those, but a lot of
Me
those are
either.
kind of like spin-offs of other ones, and
the Weezer video,
yeah,
where they literally did like,
yeah, they did. What's with these homies dissing my girl?
why do they got a front?
What did we ever do to these guys?
That they'd be scorned by your love.
Make them so violent.
Hoo. But yeah, it was just, this was a fun episode to be.
Interesting.
Well, I just liked watching him. He gets so pissed. He's like, "Where's my sword?" And they're like, "Man, we don't know if you're the true king anymore." It's like, of course I'm the fucking true king.
He shows up to the Stone of Destiny or whatever, and be like,
Yeah,
my sword might be here. And
yeah.
then he kind of touches it like, dude, you're out early. We got to make sure you're still king material. It's like, fuck me. This sucks.
But he didn't even do the first riddle. It was like, "What's this riddle?" And Griff's like, "I remember hearing this thing back in the hatchery," and it's like, "Congratulations." He's like, "You didn't say it. Give the sword to Griff then."
To be fair, he did say it. He repeated that. He repeated, it's city of stone and glass. And it's like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, basically, that was him basically saying the princess was in another castle.
It would be like if someone goes off on this whole other diatribe and you're like, the orange book? And it's like, yeah, the orange book. That's it. And it's like, oh, I said it. Yeah, woo, I did it. I said the correct answer.
It was just weird.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite part was like when they went to New York and they're like, a dark glass surrounded by a green. The willows know her name, and then they like, of course, the gargoyles pointed out to him. Like he was just he backwards stumbled into every riddle, because he even says when they're like, "We have a riddle for you," and he's like, fucking riddles. You can already tell he didn't like that shit.
You know how you make a great leader? Just have good people around you, and then everyone will attribute to your leadership.
That's true.
Be like, yeah, way to go. That's what he said.
Yeah, my job is not to do all the jobs. My job is to surround myself by people who can do the job.
Yeah.
Still, that's a jackass.
It's even kind of like when they went to the Lady of the Lake and she was like, gave him the kind of test and he got stuck and he's kind of like, hey, Griff, you shoot the base with the lightning. It's kind of, and she's kind of like, yep, surround yourself with people who know how to do the job. That's the mark of a good leader.
Yeah.
So it's not about him doing it. It's about him
Commanding
and people listening and him like having authority and people respecting it. And
Sure.
he did some stuff himself. I mean, he smashed the jewel. He reached in, pulled out the sword.
Yeah, he fought Macbeth for it.
Yeah. I kind of like that first that like Macbeth goes and gets the sword. He's like, I got the sword. He's like, it's mine. And then they fight for a minute. He's like, dude, an honorable man would like realize I got the sword. He's like, fuck, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. I'll bow. And then like Griff's like, no.
Okay. He's like, no, seriously, he's right.
Yeah. And that just shows you how honorable he is. But then I liked when it went to the shoe on the other foot when Arthur was like, keep it, and he fucking broke it, and he's like, this isn't Excalibur. But I thought it was weird that the dragon all of a sudden animated and like started flying away. I was praying that was Merlin, since Merlin was like in legend he was the dragon or whatever. I was praying that was Merlin.
I wonder if he set it up because me watching this episode, I'm like, why the fuck is there an animated stone/metal dragon in the middle of New York with Excalibur? Why the fuck is it here?
Yeah, and if anybody could have just at any time walked up and just been like, yoink! Like, why was that still, like, sitting there?
Yeah.
It was just that part was weird.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy watching King Arthur. I thought it was cool. I can't wait to see more of their wacky adventures in the spin-off show.
Come on, 1994, spin off the show.
Yeah, like get to it. Like, who doesn't want to watch an animated talking griffin gargoyle and the wacky adventures of King Arthur and the talking gargoyle? It's just, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about like that they were trying to make a spin-off.
Like, can you see it?
I could totally see it.
Yeah.
There's so many other people I would have gone to first to make a spin-off show. Maybe not King Arthur.
I think it's probably it's got name power to it or something like that.
Sure.
And then with Disney's usual sort of like fucking Rapunzel. Yeah, we made Rapunzel. The fucking Little Mermaid. Yeah, we made the Little Mermaid. Pendragon. Yeah, we're King Arthur. That's us. I could see them.
Public domain.
Yeah.
All of it's public domain.
But then they put the particular twist on it, and they're like, "Yeah, we did it. We came up with Snow White." I'm like, dude, those are fairy tales. You just kind of animated a fairy tale, then slapped Disney on it.
Yeah, the
Which is
only
why I like Gargoyles, because Gargoyles is like it's not a thing that someone else has written
yeah.
eons ago that,
This is something.
that Disney went like, which
Yeah,
is
this is something completely new.
which
So
is why when the Pendragon episode comes up and they're like, "You want to follow Pendragon?" I'm like, I know shit about him.
yeah,
I like new stuff where you're kind of building your own lore and kind of being like, "Fuck it, Easter Islands, aliens, whatever." You go to fucking Egypt. Egyptian style, like Anubis is coming out, God of Death, like, whatever. It's fun. It's different.
yeah. I mean, it was a fine episode. It was just I don't really have much interest in Griff.
Yeah, me neither.
He's interesting, but it's like, who do you want? Do you want fucking Keith David, like brawny fucking Goliath, like fucking shut up,
Yeah.
or do you want Billy Idol Mohawk, leather jacket wearing Griffin guy? Like he's fine.
It's fine.
It's just whatever.
Neil Dixon? I don't even know him.
I don't know. I don't know him either. Anybody of note? Anybody else of note in the
Yeah,
episode?
because we looked up who did King Arthur last time. I don't think it was anyone.
Farewell, my enemies.
John St. Ryan?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know him. And of course, John Rhys Davies.
As
Macbeth.
I know. I just wanted you to say it again.
I like Macbeth this episode. Him just kind of like reading the signs and being like, "Oh, let's go check out this thing, do my little spell," and it pulls King Arthur and Griff through, and it's kind of like, that's not really what it's expecting, and they kind of go fuck off, and it's like, they're here to find Excalibur. It's for a king of past, right? A king long forgotten. It's like, you were a king, right? He's like, he's a king.
See, and I think that's what I liked best about it. It was like, hey, boss, you used to be a king, right? And he's like, yeah, fuck him. I'll take the sword.
Yeah, I could be King Arthur.
And then when they said that, he was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll go get the sword. I was like, you're in a plane. You fly over the hedge maze, you just land and be like, yoink. And they have to find their way through the maze. And even then, they cheat. And they're like, let's take the shortcut and start blasting the fucking bushes.
Well, I guess to be fair, that's why he won. Because he's like, you guys go deal with them, and then he flew his plane, landed next to the dragon, climbed out, and
just
just
picked it up.
Yeah.
But I also liked where it was like, I loved the line where he said, "An honorable man will know when he's been bested."
Yeah.
And Arthur was like, "Yeah, you're right." And then when he actually smashed the gem, pulled out the fucking sword, vanquished the dragon, and then they both started falling. I was like, "Oh, Macbeth's fucked."
Yeah, I noticed they show Griff capture Pendragon. I'm like, are they just gonna have Macbeth be at the bottom, or
Yeah, he just walks up. Like,
but then they show the
Gargoyles drop him off.
Drop him off.
But then even then, like Macbeth, to show he might be a bad guy, but he's still
honorable.
He still has honor. Where he was even like, "I'll bend the fucking knee," you know.
That's even,
you are the one true king.
We've been slowly like unvillaining Macbeth over time. The last one being Sanctuary, where he was marrying Demona.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm tired. I just want to be dead.
Yeah.
And them to being like, look, the fact that you were capable of love means maybe there's something to live for. And now he's out here still doing hijinks. So it feels like this episode's out of place. Because I thought we put the kibosh on him being a villain. And they're like, look, he's villainy. It's like, they're just up to something.
I mean, he just thinks he can do what the fuck he wants to.
I mean,
he's kind of like Xanatos Jr. He's got a bunch of money. He's bored.
I don't think he's quite as schemy as Xanatos, but he's got what Xanatos wants, which is immortality. It's like, what are they going to do? Kill me?
That's true. Why doesn't Xanatos look up a spell where it's like he could leech that fucking curse off of him and put it on himself?
I don't think he knows that is how they're immortal. Because he's kind of like...
Puck would know.
Yeah, Puck would know. I don't think Puck can just tell him.
Why?
He
works for him.
Who knows? Who knows what Puck does, what he wants? Why would a fairy do what they want? Why would a fairy link these two together?
Xanatos knows that Owen is Puck at this point, though, right?
I don't know if he can command him like that. I don't know.
You'd think so.
I don't think so. Maybe that's not how he wants it, but you would think like, hey, let's link Fox and Xanatos together. And as long as one lives, the other one lives. And they'd be happy with that deal. You make both of them immortal right off the rip.
Yeah. Yeah, but they would definitely kill each other. Because they're so similar. Eventually, they'd fucking kill each other.
Maybe. But I mean, you would think Demona and Macbeth would kill each other at some point. Like, Demona's ready. Like, hands down, ready to kill someone.
That's true.
You link her with anyone at some point in time, she's gonna be like, time to kill you. It's like, you're gonna die too. It's like,
She's had so many murdery episodes.
she does.
Who's your favorite character?
She's awesome. She's just a murderer. She's awful. She's an awful person.
Yeah, that's just the episode where she was going through New York when everyone was stoned. She's like, boom, boom, in my heart. Yeah, it was just this. It was fine.
It's okay.
I think Arthur is an interesting character. Honestly, if they would have done a spin-off show, I might have watched a couple episodes.
Too. I mean, at the point in time, you would have built out the Gargoyles universe more, but I guess probably more along the lines of established fiction or whatever you want to call it. We'd be following some King Arthur stories that might feel familiar rather than us just exploring the world and kind of plucking out. Like, this story has a lore about something. Let's say it's a gargoyle, and this story has lore. Let's say it's an alien or something, and it's kind of picking and choosing.
And then you would have had, of course, the occasional Lena and Glythe being like, "Hey guys, just checking in on you. How you doing?" So,
You found Merlin yet?
no, okay, have fun, guys.
All right, I'm out.
But I was really, when they showed the dragon at the end, I was like, "Oh please," because he kept saying, "I miss my old friend," and I was like, when they showed the dragon, I was like, "Man, I hope that's Merlin." And
I guess it would be save it for the series you hope to get.
yeah. So
So of these 4 episodes, which one do you think is rated the highest?
I'd say Pendragon.
You are right.
Okay.
What would you guess their rating at?
Pendragon?
Yep.
7.2.
That's real close. 7.3. So Walkabout at 7.1. Mark of the Panther is the lowest at 6.8.
Okay.
Sentinel 6.9. Then Pendragon 7.3.
Okay. People liked fucking Easterhead Alien Man.
6.9. I mean, I guess if you're going back and rewatching Gargoyles when they're like the alien, you're like, cool. So generally, when I'm watching fantasy stuff, I kind of don't want too much sci-fi, but with Gargoyles, you kind of get it off pretty early on. That, like, I built a castle on a tower. You're like, okay, we're dealing with magic and machines, and then they had Cold Stone pretty early on, so I guess I got used to it. But then they're like, and aliens. I'm like, aliens. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but
That is kind of a sudden break.
yeah.
So
Where it's more of just kind of, I don't know, like Marvel sci-fi, where early on they're just kind of like, and Tony Stark can build this armor. You're like, whatever. And then
Sure.
then they try to be like, and Doctor Strange. It's like, these things are kind of,
that did get weirder and weirder as it went, though.
yeah, as you're just trying to like science, magic, cosmic, and you're just trying to make it all fit together in that big weird mash that Marvel is, where sometimes you're like, I like the grounded stories, but once you get out there, it's weird. Or you're like, I like the space stories, but once you get kind of small, it's just kind of boring. Or like,
Well, like the evolution of Tony and his armor. Like, he ended up having a suit that came out of a fucking wristband.
it's kind of like armor.
Well, he had like the wristbands or whatever.
Yeah,
at
that was
one
his
point.
glove. Yeah.
Yeah, that was his glove. And then he also had like the suitcase where you punch down and it fucking folds on you. So he went from a suit that's like a machine that was putting the suit on and off of him
Yeah.
to fucking nano machines.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah. And it's just kind of, well, we don't want to show him going somewhere. We don't want him to have like, I think one he had like he was in the jet or whatever, and he would or the helicopter, and he would sit back and it would put all the armor. I'm like, okay, he still has to have the armor put on him, but then it just got to the point where like, nah, screw it.
Yeah, but that was like his weakness. Like, that was his one big thing.
You'd catch him out of the armor.
Yeah,
and there was even that's what the third movie was about, catching him outside of the armor.
Yeah, and then he had the fucking wristband where it's like, and then like Bucky caught him outside the armor, and he got lucky and grabbed the fucking front of that gun.
Yes, he grabbed it and looked surprised, and then you heard the bullet shot, and then he looked more surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, but we were not doing a review of it.
Yeah, but it's just kind of that sort of mixing genres where it sometimes makes me feel like I want one genre, maybe two. So, I mean, urban arcana, that's a genre, and that's kind of where I feel Gargoyles fits in. So what about sci-fi urban arcana? I'm like,
It's just the gloves are off. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why your guy lost control of the storyline.
who knows?
He tried to go like too rich.
We don't know if we deal with aliens again, so I don't know if it's just more of a one-off story. We're like,
If there's an episode about aliens we missed, please put it down in the comments.
yeah, I don't remember one. Again, I think the New Olympians, which is in 2 episodes, is going to be what I consider probably the weirdest episode.
I have a feeling that the next several episodes, the next several reviews we're going to do is going to probably be the first time I've seen the episodes, or the episodes were just so uninteresting to me when I watched them originally. They completely left my memory, but
I think we've got good episodes coming up. And also the New Olympians, which is weird to me. So we've got 37, 38, 39, and 40 for next month. Do you want me to read the titles of the episodes?
please,
Eye of the Storm, The New Olympians, The Green, and then Bushido.
the green.
The Green.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make my guesses just by the
That's
titles.
one thing.
Oh, okay. Well, then
So, Eye of the Storm, what do you think that would deal with?
I have a feeling we're coming back to some of the it sounds like God stuff. It sounds like we're gonna go back to like the Heavy Fate episode.
Sure. The New Olympians.
The guys that are taking over for the old guard, the old gods.
Okay. So, in thinking mythology, Olympians kind of, I think, gives you a hint. The Green.
Who knows? It's an episode where Broadway finds weed.
These are all Avalon episodes, so we're not going back to Manhattan.
The green. I'm gonna guess Leprechaun.
Okay, and then Bushido.
Well, apparently we're going to Japan.
We're going to Japan. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
So a little hint for what's upcoming, and if you're watching along, those will be ready for those ones next month.
Indeed.
And is there anything else we want to add about Gargoyles?
Just that it's a fantastic show.
It's so good.
If you can get a friend turned on to it, the episodes aged pretty good.
They're still pretty good. Again, it's a kid show, so I think temper your expectations for what it is. Some of it's really good, some of it's kind of weird, but I don't think there's anything of it that's awful.
Yeah, no, it's all pretty decent. And we got to see the Pendragon episode. I think the reason why I rated that one so high is I forgot to talk about it when it happened, but when they knocked the tree over on the Gargoyles, and they're like, lift the tree and we'll fucking finish them off real quick.
Yeah.
And when they lifted the tree, you see Hudson like snatch his S-stock real quick and like try and he
Hey,
cuts the fucking legs out from
He
that
like
dude.
sorted his legs, but it just knocks him prone. It's
Yeah.
like you knifed his calf. You sorted his calves.
I expected to see calves and feet standing there and him fall back with stumps. Like I expected to see that, but it was like because he totally used the bladed side.
It's but I guess he's flatted him, or he's wearing like who knows? It's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a cartoon. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe there's a cut out there where of guys laying on the ground going, "Ah, my fucking legs!"
Why would you do this to me?
Hudson going, so
As
who
you
knows?
said, lift up the tree so we could finish them off.
You
I
said
cut your legs off. Deal with it.
you said you wanted more adult content. What gets more adult than an old guy cutting off some kid's legs? But yeah, no, I think we covered it all.
We can wrap it up.
All right.
Join us next month for more Gargoyles, and join us next week for I think Annihilation's coming up.
Cool.
All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.